Hello Muggles and welcome back to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I am baking my way through the Harry Potter books, making a recipe for all the food and drink featured inside. If you missed last week's recipe as part of our Great Hall Feast, where we made sous vide steak served with our Hogwarts house inspired sauces, then check out the links down below in the description to catch up. But it's Magic Monday, so let's see what's in store for us today. Still got room left for more? Well, if you're a fan of Harry Potter and you don't want to miss a thing from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new video. But without further ado, let's get back to the feast. Okay, so the feast is still in full swing and we don't have far to go for our next recipe. He had never seen so many things he'd like to eat on one table. Roast beef, roast chicken, pork chops and lamb chops, sausages, bacon and steak, boiled potatoes. But you didn't come all this way just for boiled potatoes, so let's see what else there is. Roast potatoes, chips, Yorkshire pudding, peas, carrots. Looks like we're having all the trimmings. We're making all of the sides and we're going to take these on one by one. For our boiled new potatoes, you will need some new potatoes, 50 grams of butter, salt and pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic granules and a teaspoon of parsley. For our roasted Hasselback potatoes, you will also need some more potatoes, some olive oil, salt and pepper, a teaspoon of chili flakes and a handful of breadcrumbs. Our triple cooked chips are very easy to make, so all you'll need is your potatoes and some oil to fry. Our classic Yorkshire puddings are going to be made with 35 grams of plain flour, a pinch of salt, 1 egg and 50 millilitres of milk. You'll also need some oil for cooking. For our minted peas, you will need 100 grams of frozen peas, 25 grams of butter, salt and pepper, a handful of fresh mint leaves, and a quarter teaspoon of chili flakes. And finally, for our honey glazed carrots, you will need some baby carrots, some olive oil, salt and pepper, 2 tablespoons of honey, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So the Hogwarts kitchen may be in overdrive preparing for the feast, but to make it as easy as possible, I'm going to take you through them one by one. Of course, when it comes to actually preparing your feast, you can multitask when you've got a bit of time on your hands, but I'm going to show you how to do each one step by step. Up first, our garlic new potatoes. These boiled potatoes are really easy to make and super tasty. All you need to do is wash your new potatoes to remove any dirt from the outside. I'm going to leave the skins on, but if you're conscious of dirt and you want a quick trick to remove it, all you need to do is take a clean sponge and rub it across your potatoes. Place the pot on a medium heat and then add in your water and some salt for flavouring. Then all you need to do is add in your new potatoes, bring them up to the boil and leave them to boil and cook through for about 20 minutes. Once they're done, drain them off, but then keep your pot to make your seasonings. For this, we're going to add our butter in and let it melt, and then season it with our salt, pepper, garlic granules, and our parsley. Stir that all through and then add in your cooked potatoes. Give them a good toss until they are all nicely coated, and then these garlic new potatoes are ready to go. So there you go, we kick things off nice and easy with our boiled potatoes, and up next are roast potatoes. But we're going to do something a little bit special and make Hasselback potatoes, or should I say Harryback potatoes. If you've never had Hasselback potatoes before, then they are a roasted potato that has thin slices all along the edge. This crisps up in the oven, is super tasty, and we're going to add some breadcrumbs on top so they are even crisper. Here's how it's done. Just like our new potatoes, you're going to want to start by washing these and giving them a good scrub. Then you want to take a knife and carefully slice down evenly across the top surface. You don't want to go all the way through though, so leave about 1/4 of an inch. A quick trick that you can do is put a cocktail stick all the way through, and this will stop your knife going through to the bottom, but if you're a bit of a wizard in the kitchen, then you can do it freehand. Once these are all sliced, drizzle a bit of olive oil into your roasting dish and then add in your potatoes. You'll then want to add a bit more olive oil on top and season it with your salt, pepper, chili flakes and breadcrumbs. These need to go in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for a good 30 to 40 minutes until they are fully cooked and nice and crisp. Once they're lovely and golden brown on top, they are good to go. See, they sound complicated, but they are super easy as well. Okay, our third potato-based dish, seeing as 3 is the magic number, let's do triple cooked chips. So these are going to be boiled, then fried, and then baked in the oven, so you get a light and fluffy inside, but a super crisp and tasty outside. This is how it's done. Okay, first up you need to peel your potatoes to remove all of the skin, and a quick trick if you want to get some really nice even chunky chips is to slightly square off the sides, and this is just going to make them a bit more uniform. Once you've done that, slice the potatoes in half and then in quarters to get to your chips. Pop these into some cold water just to stop them from going brown. Once they are all sliced, you need to place a pan on a medium heat and add in your hot water and salt to taste. You'll then want to boil your chips for about 5 to 7 minutes until they just start to go soft. As soon as they hit this point, you don't want to overcook them, so remove them from the heat and then plunge them into an iced water bath to stop the cooking process. You'll then want to take these out and dry off any of the excess water on some kitchen towel. Once they're dry, you want to line them up onto a baking tray and then pop them into the freezer for at least an hour until they are solid. Once they're about 10 minutes away from being finished, you want to place a pan on a medium-high heat and warm up your oil. Remove your potatoes from the freezer, and while they're still frozen, plunge them into your cooking oil. You should see them bubbling straight away, and you want to cook them through until they are lovely and golden brown. This will take about 5 minutes. Once they're all lovely and crisp, remove them from the oil and dry off any excess oil with some kitchen towel. And for our third and final cooking step, all you need to do is align them back up onto your baking tray, and this time pop them into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 minutes, just to give you a really crisp outer shell. And there you go, you can pop these into a cup or a cone or stack them high, and I assure you, your guests will love them. Okay, next up are Yorkshire puddings, and if you've been following my channel for a while, then you'll know as part of my 12 Bakes of Christmas series, I made a giant Yorkshire pudding, which is usually what I like to save for my Harry Potter kitchen. So instead, we're going to do the opposite and make some mini individual Yorkshire puddings that you can give to each of your guests or have 6 yourself. Although people often worry about making Yorkshire puddings, they are actually super easy to make. First things first, all you need to do is warm up your oil. I'm using a silicone cupcake mold which has 6 individual pockets, and I'm adding in about a tablespoon of oil into each. Pop this into the oven until it is nice and hot at 180 degrees Celsius. While the oil is heating up, you can prepare your batter, and again it is super easy. All you need to do is add your flour and salt into a bowl, whisk it together until it's nicely combined, crack an egg into the middle, and then slowly add in your milk, whisking it through until you get a nice even consistency. You don't want to over whisk it though, so as soon as there are no lumps, put your whisk to one side, put your mixture into a jug, and this will make it so much easier to pour into your cases later. Once the oil is piping hot, remove it from the oven, and working as quickly as you can, add in an even amount of your batter into each. Time is of the essence to keep the oil as hot as possible, so quickly pop this back into the oven and your Yorkshire puddings will take about 10 minutes to cook. You'll then be able to watch them rise in the oven, and as long as your oil was hot enough and your batter wasn't overworked, they should be nice and light and fluffy, but with a crisp outside. Okay, so we can't have all of this meat and all these carbs without some vegetables. So to help us get some of our 5 a day, I'm going to do some fresh seasonal peas with some mint and chilli just to give them an extra kick. Even if you're not a massive fan of garden peas, I definitely recommend trying this one out as it adds a whole new element to it. All you need to do is boil your peas in some boiling water for about 5 minutes, and you'll see that they rise to the top once they're nice and cooked. While your peas are cooking, you can quickly prepare your mint by pulling it off the stems and then slicing it. It's really easy if you roll up the mint and then slice it evenly, giving it a crisscross in between if you want it really fine. Once the peas have floated to the top and they're nice and cooked, remove them from the pan, and then while it's still hot, melt your butter. You then want to season this with your salt and pepper, add in your mint leaves and your chili flakes, and then work quickly, otherwise your mint leaves will burn. Give it a quick stir and then add your peas back in, stirring them through until they are nicely coated. And it's as simple as that. Really quick, but some of the tastiest peas you will have ever had. Okay, and last but by no means least, we have our carrots. And again, I want to do something a little bit different here that's going to bring out the natural sweetness of the carrots, but also give it a little kick. For our honey glazed carrots, I like to use baby carrots as they look a lot better on the plate, but of course, if you can't find any, then using a full-size carrot is fine. Again, these are really easy to make. All you need to do is get yourself a roasting dish and add in your carrots. Season them with salt, pepper, and cinnamon, drizzle over your honey, and then finish it with a little bit of olive oil just to prevent it from sticking. We're then going to toss these by hand just to make sure they're all nice and evenly coated, and pop them into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes until they cook through and start to crispen up on the outside. You'll notice that all of the honey starts to caramelize with the carrots, and it really draws out that fresh, fruity sweetness. It may be a vegetable, but that doesn't mean we can't add a little sugar. And we're done. All you need to do is pile these high and let your guests dig in. There is plenty to go around, so no need to try and sneak into the Hogwarts kitchen. So there you go, 6 recipes in one video, but it is a great whole feast, so we had to go all out. If you like this episode and you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new video. That is all for now, but I will see you next week for another recipe.